Welcome, Renegades, to the final stream of Renegade Con Month of Darkness. Thank you all for tuning in. I am joined by some spectacular, spooky guests for this very special Month of Darkness stream, the Coterie of Love. I'd love to go around and introduce ourselves real quick. Let's start with Tracie.
Hello, everybody. I am Tracie. I go by Miss Magitek or Magitek on the internet. If you were here for Renegade Con yesterday, I was on the awesome storyteller panel. You should totally check that out. Check out the VOD if you didn't get the chance to watch it yesterday. But I do a lot of TTRPG stuff on the internet, and I love World of Darkness. I've run both Vampire the Masquerade and Hunter the Reckoning, and I've been playing VTM 5th edition since it first came out in 2018, in a long-term chronicle that is still going on now, which is wild. And yeah, that's me.
Great. Outstar, let's throw it to you.
Hi, I'm Outstar. I am a community developer for World of Darkness and also a so-called professional vampire sip. At least that's what I've heard once, at least. So, yes.
Great. Laura.
Hi, all. You can call me Laura or Tutu or Laura Tutu, some iteration thereof, and you will be able to find me on the internet. I have been doing TTRPGs, including Vampire the Masquerade, for about 2.5 years now. And my home is over at Queen's Court Games, with a little chronicle called the All Night Society. So I feel like I've also been a professional vampire simp for a while now, and I feel like this is just the culmination of all that.
Sounds like you're all very well qualified to be giving vampire relationship advice.
Very much so.
And that, of course, is why I have gathered you all here today. I don't know if you have heard, but Renegade has a new book coming out called Bloodstained Love. This is a source book for Vampire the Masquerade that focuses on romance and relationships at the table, above table, and also during role play. The very first ever preview is available today, so you can get a first look at the book right now. Right after you watch the stream, go and check that out. It's the very first reveal we're doing in a series of reveals for this book. This book includes tools on how to build a chronicle from the ground up, so that options for romance are maximized or minimized if you are someone who doesn't like romance and TTRPGs. There are also 6 fully fleshed out storyteller characters specifically designed for romance. So romanceable characters, if you will. 6 detailed story concepts, advice and tools for safety and calibration, which expands on the core book's advice for considerate play appendix. So that's your extra safety tools, and stuff like that to help you facilitate a pleasant gaming experience. There's also a ton of other stuff, so go check out that preview right after this, and this is set to release in January of 2024. So without further ado, I, a mere fledgling vampire, approach the Coterie of Love. I seek your wisdom. I carry with me letters that I have collected far and wide all across the states from different vampires who are in desperate need of some dating advice. So I hope that you, professional vampire simps, self-described, and overall vampire experts may help these poor souls find their partners. Let's get right into it. This letter reads, "Greetings. I beg the wisdom of the Coterie of Love. Recently, I have been courting someone new for the first time since 1823. Congratulations. Wow. As you may imagine, I seem to be a little old-fashioned in my courting rituals. While my ideal date is a stroll through the misty moonlight, my partner much prefers to go to, what did she call them? Raves? I would rather not expose myself to such chaos of a rave, and I fear I may be boring my companion. What should I do? Sincerely, old-fashioned in Orange County."
Oh.
Oh, I mean that's the struggle, isn't it? When you have multiple generations trying to connect in such a way. Oh, you poor thing. You poor thing.
You know, I've seen it happen before, the generational gap. It doesn't always work out, but there might be some hope.
I mean, as with all things, compromise.
Mm-hmm.
I,
I have an idea. I believe that we should try to find an advice to this gentleman of trying to assess whether maybe there was something in his era which was akin to a rave. Maybe we should just take a candle and ask him to like extinguish it and then fire it again and just like get some sensory, sensory thing.
A candlelight strobing, if you will.
There has to be something, and then maybe we can ask a minstrel to yell into his ear or something. I'm not sure. I mean, they did have some pretty loud instruments already in that age, didn't they? Get some didgeridoo or a very, very, very big piano, just or both at best, and let them play in the symphony and just mash them. Yes.
Or perhaps you could use the techno instrumentation, but with more traditional songs of that era. Perhaps that would be helpful. Some techno remixes of Greensleeves or the like.
I mean, it's been very popular on the TikTok. You get those remixes of things that probably should have never been remixed to begin with.
Yes.
And, you never know.
And, maybe the attire too should start getting them adjusted to rave wear. Maybe starting slow, getting a couple of colors introduced into the clothing, and then eventually, maybe they'll be in all neon.
Or perhaps instead of you could wear like neon bloomers. Might be more time period appropriate and comfortable, maybe a little bit more covered, but still outgoing. Or perhaps transparent garments, some mesh, but maybe a mesh suit.
I should definitely add that in the end, it is all the same as it used to be 100 years ago and 200 years ago. After you get through the phase of, having to go through technological interests, in the end, everyone ends up in the same bloody communions. So it shouldn't be that much different from the 1800s.
It's true. Think of all of the people you can feed off of at a rave as well. So there's probably prime contestants with there.
Exactly, darling. It's what's the quote from Gatsby? I like large parties. They're so intimate. Like, come on.
I love that. Very insightful. I think the biggest takeaway for old fashioned in Orange County is to take small steps out of their comfort zone, and make compromise. And at the end of the day, love is the same as it always has been. And if they're the one,
yes, once they go to the rave, then you can take your new date to a nice moonlight walk, something more your speed after that.
There we go. A poetry reading or of the like.
Yes.
Great. I think we helped that person. Let's move on. All right. This letter says, "Hey, Coterie, I find myself in a bit of a predicament. Every Thursday night, I attend a trivia night at a local bar as a way to de-stress. I end up spending a lot of time with a mortal named Emily. We share a lot of similar interests: European history, classic literature, funerary rituals, etc. Unfortunately, I find myself falling for her and her fascinating personality. Should I pursue this relationship while hiding my identity? Should I turn her? Should I just stop going to trivia altogether? Parentheses, I really love trivia, so I really don't want to do that. Thank you all for your wisdom. From Maybe a Mortal Match in Minneapolis." This one is a doozy.
Yes.
Must keep up the traditions, dear.
Yes, that is treading a line there. And as a loyal follower of all of the masquerade traditions, a Camarilla simp on my end, I should say, I do not condone mortal to kindred relationships. So that that's my hot take here. Do
Hot
not pursue.
take.
Do not pursue.
Outstar, what do you think?
As an anarch simp, I have to agree with Camarilla simp in here, but for different reasons, not because of the traditions and the old people telling us what to do, but more about the power dynamics. It's a little bit weird. You're going to destroy her trivia night if you pursue that. So what about you let that wonderful young woman have her trivia night and have her trivia Thursdays or Wednesdays or whatever going on, and you just step away and do them online. They're also pretty cool trivia nights online. It's fine.
That's tragic. And they did say they really love trivia, so that will be pretty heartbreaking.
Well, you're a vampire. You just have to at some point agree that life is not going to be the same as it used to be, and there is still plenty of cool trivia in the books, for example.
Wow. A lot of buck up advice.
So heartless. Goodness me.
So is turning even on the table, do you think?
Do not even consider it.
Don't consider it.
What on earth do you mean, sweetheart? All you have to do is have a conversation with the prince, make sure that things are on the up and up. I mean, of course, we want to make sure to maintain the safety of our little social club. But circumstances can vary.
Expand on that. What do you mean by circumstances?
Well, I mean, come now. I understand that we are very exclusive, but we want to make sure to how do the kids say, we don't gatekeep around here.
Oh.
Who knows? Maybe you've got a new up and coming fledgling in the making. She sounds very intelligent. She sounds quite promising, depending on her other skills, her other interests. Who should, depending on your who's reigning in praxis.
Interesting. It is a fine line, a gray area, for sure. Despite how intelligent and well-read she sounds, but I think that the coterie seems to have voted in favor of finding a different trivia night to go to.
Well, Camarilla always votes for expanding their nice little club, so I understand where you're coming from. But on the other hand, I feel like there's just too many of us. Maybe we should stop spreading so much and stop multiplying. Different trivia nights for me, but I understand the power of love.
Power of love is quite a lot to turn away from.
It's hard, but it does have to be like that sometimes.
Unfortunately,
we all make sacrifices, I suppose.
In the chat, someone says turning is not on the table, but snacking is.
This is true.
Perhaps.
True. Yes.
Or ghouling. I'm just saying.
Ghouling.
There's a way to keep them around if you really wanted to.
And then you get your own personal snack pack.
Fair enough. All right. I think we helped that person. Shall we move on?
I feel it.
All right.
Yes, on to our next letter.
Our next letter. Dear Coterie of Love, I am in an incredibly loving and passionate romance, and I have never been happier. But he is a Camarilla, and I am an anarch. I simply don't know what to do. Sometimes it feels as though the weight of the world is keeping us apart. Do you have any advice for a poor couple in love? Sincerely, Star-Crossed in Cincinnati.
Another Romeo and Juliet story. How sweet.
God, we can't do anything simply, can we?
Apparently not.
I hate to say it, babies, but I think that might be a deal breaker. I mean, what happens when friction breaks out between the sex? You're going to have to choose sides eventually, and that's only going to end in heartbreak or torpor.
I think it depends on whether we tap into the idea of I can fix him, her, or not.
Right.
Maybe the Camarilla person can be fixed.
Or the Anarch.
There's nothing to fix. It's perfectly working. Yeah, I feel like quite of a rebellious soul can always sort of blow the waves and move the tides of a more calm person. So the one who is more rigid and fit in their sad and boring hierarchies and subdued by all of that government stuff can just taste the freedom, like quite literally taste the freedom on their tongue and be like, I like it. So I think that they should pursue it. May actually have some cool outcomes.
I think so too. Anarch and Camarilla don't get along, but there are mutual enemies of both. Sabat. Nobody likes Sabat.
It's true.
Lupine.
It could be Sabat.
Nobody likes smelly Lupine. So you know what? Find other problems in your city that both sides can agree are a problem, and maybe that's a way for you two to combine forces, and you can go back to the Camarilla, they can go back to the Anarchs and say, look, we got to deal with this, we got to work together. So that's always a nice solution, at least a temporary one.
Like like an opposites attract. You can make each other better.
Yes, our enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing, and work together on that sense.
That's
Find
fair.
common hobbies like killing werewolves.
Yes.
That's true. That's true. I know. We are all of us so set in our ways. That is the problem once you come into the embrace. The way I've seen it, you turn, and where you are in that moment in time is where you are for your eternity. We can claim to change, we can claim to grow, but it's very rare. I would just offer caution. Once a cami, always a cami.
Interesting.
Wise advice.
Do any of you have experience in romance outside of your own faction?
Very much so, actually.
How did that turn out?
It did end with one of them dead.
Maybe it's not a good idea. It's
so do as I say, don't not as I do. That's all.
No comment.
No comment. A very secret love life.
Do not ask us about the king of the Sabbats.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, I think that we helped that lovely couple, and we can move on. Let's see. Yes. This was a letter we got recently.
Oh, dear.
Dear Coterie of Love, I sent my partner a commissioned boudoir portrait of myself in the nude. She liked it, but she did laugh at me and told me I could have sent a picture over text instead. How do I do that? Will it take longer than sitting for a portrait? My ghoul Francis can paint very quickly. From Posing in St. Paul.
Well, I would say that is actually not a bad thing to send lovely portraits of yourself rather than sending them over text, because generally it's frowned upon to use phones and technology for us kindred. So I actually don't see anything wrong with
Outstar,
doing a portrait.
You're shaking your head a bit. Do you have something to add?
No, who's listening?
I have a mental image of it might be someone casting dementation on me right now, but I have a mental image of someone sending, when let's say sometimes when you're exchanging more interesting pictures of yourselves, there might be requests, right? It's like, show me how you look in this lingerie I've just bought you, or anything. And after some time, you might end up with your haven being full canvas portraits of your other half, which for some might be interesting, but imagine when we talk about 20, 30, 50, how much does it
That's
how much
how long will your romance last with this individual? And if perchance your partnership doesn't work out, what do you do with the 20, 30, 40 paintings you have of your ex, right?
You put them on display in the public square.
I was gonna say have a nice I was gonna say ritual, you burn them, but we don't really like fire either, so that wouldn't really work.
Dump them in the lake.
Yes.
It always troubles me when we have elders trying to catch up with the times. I'm sure it's necessary. To be fair, a lot of our issues could be solved if folks just sort of got with it. But ooh, honey.
It's difficult. Well, the posing in St. Paul, if they're in St. Paul, it does snow there. So perhaps they can bury the portraits in the snow if they ended the partnership. But it's true. So maybe photographs would be the compromise.
That's true.
Could do it quicker.
We've got someone in the chat who says you hold on to them until they're priceless works of art.
Oh, excellent idea.
Perfect idea. I love that.
Yeah. Generations later.
Exactly. You never know. Maybe that'll be worth something in 50 to 100 years.
So my vote is stick to the portraits.
Yes. You're pro portraits.
Yes.
Okay. They did say that their ghoul paints very quickly. So maybe it's a non-issue. Maybe just continue doing portraits and don't listen to your partner about photographs.
Honestly, they should be lucky to be getting anything. Come on now.
Well, that's
don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Come on. Don't be rude.
It's true. I agree. All right. Next question. Dear Coterie of Love, I have never been on a date. I know, it's depressing, but all that is about to change. I have my first ever date this weekend. So my question is, where should I take her? She's a total smoke show and way out of my league. So I want to impress her. In your opinion, where's the best date spot for a 10 out of 10 unliving babe? And this comes to us from Clueless Casanova in Chicago.
Poor thing.
Oh, honey. Oh, dear. All right. It's also going to depend on what your interests are. This could be someone who you could take to a nice romantic dinner of sorts. You order a glass of wine, you sit there and talk. No one's really going to notice. It'll be fine. But do they enjoy concerts? Do they enjoy the theater? Do they enjoy burlesque? I know that scene is all over the place in Chicago. So if nothing else, you will not be wanting for choices.
That's true. It seems they're more focused on the date, about doing their first date, than they are about the person they're taking on a date.
Which is a little troubling, but
yes. Where are some of your favorite date spots?
I am more of the classic date type, a nice dinner, maybe somewhere fancy, romantic, where you can dress up. But I do like to also have fun, a nice club with music where you can dance, and there's lots of humans around, just in case you get hungry. So it's a great way to end the night, having a little food after you have your, fake food. We can still enjoy food sometimes.
Outstar, you're nodding in contentment. Do you agree with that, or do you have other recommendations?
I do have a recommendation. I feel like for romanticism, he should pick a place that is dark. For the general coziness and being able to have meaningful conversations, he should pick a place where they are alone, and perhaps a place that he is just, it's only his, that he's very nostalgic about. Maybe some place that no one else have ever visited, or anyone else would ever go to, like behind of some kind of a garage in a dark alley. That would be very much
so
working.
is that your ideal date, behind a garage in a dark alley?
With a human. Yes.
With a human. Fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, there's no accounting for taste, but
well, I'm sure it tastes really good.
It's great.
I liked the idea of a burlesque show, because then you get a show and potentially dinner afterward. And then you could meet, you could skulk in the back alleys afterwards at the stage door. So perhaps something to that effect would be a good spot in Chicago.
Exactly. Something out with the general public. As Miss Tracie said, I mean, you're going to need a snack eventually. Choose some place that's decently populated, but populated enough to where no one's really going to notice. Keep that blush of life ready to go and you'll be set.
Excellent.
Last idea is a nice boat tour out at Lake Michigan.
Oh, yes.
Because, in case it gets messy, there's the lake.
Easy clean. Easy cleanup.
It's easy cleanup.
Not from experience. I'm not saying that's from experience.
I mean, the Navy Pier is right there also.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So
just
maybe you could corner a human and have them go on the Ferris wheel with you.
Yes, exactly.
That's romantic. That's really cute.
I think we got some good options here.
What final advice would you give this person for their first ever date?
Do it.
That's great advice. It's true.
I would say be yourself, but that's not always the case with the likes of us.
So be yourself if yourself is an okay thing to be, and do it.
And 10 out of 10 smoking babe, as they described. See if its looks are only skin deep. See what's underneath. What's underneath.
Right. This should be an opportunity to get to know the smoke show 10 out of 10 unliving babe. Great. I think we helped that person. All right. Next letter. Dear Coterie of Love, those partaking in courtship nowadays seems to have no respect for the classic love letter. I'm so tired of these youngins making text messages and pagers. So my question for you, is the love letter dead? Are the days of wax seals and a spritz of perfume truly over? From Letter Lover in Los Angeles.
I don't think it has to be. I mean, you could very easily be just as verbose and romantic via text, but there's something nice about having the physical reminder of your beloved, your paramour, what have you.
I'm not anti-love letter, but I can see it being a bit jarring if it is a younger fledgling or neonate and they're not used to that kind of those kinds of acts of love. But they might be able to get used to it in some time. It's just getting them to that point. But I'm not anti-love letter, especially with a nice, perfume, wax seal. That sounds really fancy, actually.
I hate to agree with my cami friends, but yes, that it is very romantic. I do recall receiving one of these just a while back with the wax seal. Did you call it this? So I didn't know how to open it because I've never received one, so I just bit it off. I thought it tastes like blood, maybe because it was red, but it didn't. So it was a pretty horrible experience. And then I had to spend a good portion of my night trying to decipher whatever kind of a text it was with a cursive and all. It was a little bit of a hassle, but still I appreciate the gesture.
Good.
Never sent a letter back though.
Well, go ahead.
Well, and to be honest, I mean, the physical letters are going to be safer than anything electronic. We know how folks can be insofar as tracking.
Yep, it's That technology, stay away from it as you can. One thing that you say that sounds off and you got hunters on you. So let that youngin who maybe is not used to the letters, they should start getting used to them.
Excellent. Excellent insight. I will also add that if you're interested in learning how to incorporate love letters at your table, you can pre-order Bloodstained Love, and there is a whole section on how different kinds of vampires and different kinds of characters might create their own love letter when sending it to their beloved. So, letter lover in Los Angeles, maybe pre-order Bloodstained Love, and that'll help you out.
Sounds awesome. I want to write letters to my all of my romance options in my games. That's amazing.
Great. This next one is fresh off the press. Dear Coterie of Love, I find myself in a bit of a predicament. I do believe I am developing feelings for my ghoul.
Oh.
Now, I am unsure as to whether or not the feelings are reciprocated by my ghoul, or if they are simply a symptom of them being under my thrall. My question is, should I pursue this relationship? Do you have any alternative ideas? And this comes to us from Hopelessly Devoted in Houston. Yikes.
Yes, this is a complicated one. Getting involved with a ghoul. It can end messy.
Oh dear. I've heard all manner of horror stories about this. Of course, it depends on who's around in your city and the general political climate, but if you are a little too connected, that is the kind of thing that can be used against you quite easily.
Also, I am not sure if our coterie is able to give psychological advice to this person, but are you in love with them, or are you in love with how much they love you? Because that might be the thing in here.
That's the question.
Excellent point. Excellent point. That's true. It's really easy to succumb to what you think is an overwhelming sense of romance when really maybe you just enjoy the attention.
It sounds like a Toreador problem.
It does, actually, coming from experience again. As I just like, I don't know. It's hard because if you're feeling these feelings, you kind of don't want to stay away from them. You want to try to pursue them and see what might happen. The smart thing, yes, is to maybe keep distance for a bit, which can be hard because your ghoul kind of needs you sometimes. So that can be difficult. There's no easy answer here, I think. If you feel certain feelings for your ghoul, I think it is best to be on the cautionary side, like my fellow coterie members have said here.
Erring on the side of caution. I do concur.
Maybe going with the old advice, if you really love them, you have to be able to let them go. Try to have another kindred bond them, just so you know whether the blood and the connection you have, which is superficial and only made by the blood, will it actually go and continue forward when you don't have that connection? And well, this can cause a very bloody situation with the other kindred in the end, but at least it will be fun. So yeah.
Well, excellent insight from the Coterie of Love. I hope that helps you. Hopelessly Devoted in Houston. Now, for another letter, this one says, Dear Coterie of Love, I am a big fan of vampire romance novels. I know it might be a little self-centered and prideful to read about these whirlwind romances involving vampires written by mortal authors. My question for you is it okay to ask my romantic partners to role play scenes from the vampire romance fiction? This comes to us from Fiction Fan in Fresno.
It depends on the fiction, the vampire novels we're talking about here.
Valid.
Yeah, some vampire novels, they say it's fine to go in the sun, because that I would not recommend trying that. Your skin will not change its colors and sparkle and things. So do not try that. That is my first recommendation. It really does depend on the vampire romance novel we're talking about here.
Use first of all, use your brain. Second of all, I mean, if you're going to be in this relationship long term, dear, you keep the spark alive, so they say.
Great. Keep the spark alive.
Keep things interesting. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a little, pretend every once in a while.
I feel like as long as it's consensual, it's good. It's fine. Like if the other person says yes to exactly what you offer and know exactly what you're offering, then yes. And do remember that just like with role playing, as people do it these days online or in person, it is not only important to have the consent of the other person, it is also important to have the consent of having the people around you who may share that experience. So if you are to, let's say, have a scene like that in public somewhere, and it is supposed to be very bloody, involve the murder of other people, then maybe that is not very good. Maybe you should rethink whether, you've asked everyone involved, whether that is okay. But if it's just with you and your partner in your intimate area and that person is absolutely okay with whatever you're doing, then I see no issues.
I think that is excellent insight. And Fiction Fan in Fresno, if you are interested in learning about consent and role playing, you can go ahead and pre-order Bloodstained Love. Link in the chat right now. That book, I've heard, is chock full of advice on how to keep your table safe and your role players happy as they are enacting their vampiric will. Okay.
So smooth.
So smooth. Total pro. Oh, good Lord. All right. This is our last letter. Dear Coterie of Love, my lover is playing a video game with an NPC that is supposedly a vampire. All she does is talk about this white-haired heartbreaker. Should I be worried? And this is from What Even Is a Video Game in Washington.
Yes, you should be worried.
I think you might be in deep shit, babe.
But you know what? You're not alone. It's a worldwide phenomena. So
white, sassy little white-haired twink is everywhere, and you cannot escape it. You might as well just come to terms with it.
Outstar, I know that you have a lot of experience with this specific character. Would you like to share with the class?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Who? Who? What? You mean me? What? No, I don't know.
Yes, who indeed? He's captured us on literally my phone right now.
Not to be non-vampire, but anyway, we can talk about it later.
Yeah.
That concludes the advice portion of the Coterie of Love. I do see some people in the chat saying, yes, you should be worried.
Yes. Chat
so
knows too.
I think
chat understands. Chat understands.
Video game in Washington, be wary. Great. As a reminder, Bloodstained Love, if you liked this and if you like role-playing about romance or talking about romance as a vampire or member of the unliving, please go pre-order Bloodstained Love, a new source book for Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. It is coming out in January, and it is chock full of different storyteller resources as well as resources for players for incorporating more or less romance into your game, and also expands upon the safety tools tools already found in Vampire the Masquerade. It's going to be an awesome book. I'm very excited about it. Just a reminder, you can go check out the first ever preview right now, right after this, and get a first look at the book. So thank you all for tuning in, and thank you all to my lovely Coterie of Love, and for letting a poor fledgling like myself hang out with such cool vamps. And thank you to everybody for watching, and thank you to everybody for watching Renegade Con. This is the final video of Month of Darkness Renegade Con, so thank you for sticking with us and enjoying all of the streams with us. It was a lot of fun to do. Make sure to check out all of the pre-orders we announced yesterday in the kickoff stream, and all of those links are going to be available in the chat right now. One more time, let's go around and you can tell us where to find you on social media and anything you're working on right now. Let's start with Tracie.
You can find me anywhere at Miss Magitek on all of the places, or twitch.tv/MagiRPG, where I play tabletop games with my friends, including our VTM Chronicle that is returning October 27th. So definitely want to tune in for that. That's everything for me.
Great. Laura?
Hi, folks. Once again, I'm Laura Tutu or Laura Tutu. You can find me on the internet, usually as some iteration of Laura_Tutu. You might just have to throw an underscore at the beginning and the end of that, depending on the platform. When I am not being a sassy vampire at various streams around it with the family, you can find me hanging out with the folks over at Queen's Court Games. If you would like more vampire nonsense, you can check out our Vampire Chronicle, The All Night Society, our multi-award-winning Vampire Chronicle. Holy crap. Season 2 is about 3 episodes away from being done. So you can find all of those episodes on Queen's Court Games under Spotify or YouTube, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Great. And Outstar?
So you can find me on Twitter mostly as Outstar Walker, and on Twitch as Outstar, but in general I'm Outstar in most places. And you can follow most of my work right now this month on worldofdarkness.com in Month of Darkness. We are doing this really cool thing where we are revealing something every single day, including weekends. So it's like 31 days of goodness. And if you want anything World of Darkness related, then it's a good place to go. And you can hang out with us on Discord as well. Discord.gg/World of Darkness.
Awesome. That is great to hear. Thank you all for coming. Make sure to click those links in chat to check out the pre-orders and check out the new preview for Bloodstained Love. And it was awesome hanging out with y'all. And good night. We did it.
Bye.
Good night. Bye.